Here at DreamHack Summer 2013. There it is on your screen. Our blue team, DP. They are down in the bottom left-hand corner. They have come all the way across from Turkey, and they are playing against the brand new Copenhagen Wolves squad, plus Reckless in there in that bottom lane. So Reckless and Copenhagen Wolves up one game already. Sit at the top of your screen on your scoreboard, and let's see what DP have to say about it. Can they level this series out, or will Copenhagen Wolves be going home damn sight richer in about an hour's time?
Yeah, but they have one advantage, and that's basically the fact that, well, DP is now on the blue side, so they have that golem advantage. But again, look at them. They're immediately running straight for the enemy blue buff. And if we're looking at what the opposing team is doing, Copenhagen Wolves, exactly the same.
They've done that same start for the last
game.
3 games. They've already played 3 games here. So yeah, they've headed down that bottom way, but DP could actually come around behind them themselves here. So you see Copenhagen Wolves heading into that tri-bush. Will they ward it as they leave? If they do, they may see DP. Never mind, DP is just going to straight up steal this blue buff with no knowledge for the Copenhagen Wolves. They don't realize it's happening. It's interesting to see these teams making these kind of invades without placing any wards in their own jungle. That's something that is quite unusual. They normally see 4 people going for the initial invade with the support hanging behind and dropping off some wards. That hasn't happened this time, and as a result, neither team knows where their opponents are. Jace has just backed off. Trundle is heading around here, but DP are lying in wait, and now they've spotted Kaltard and Shook. They're making their way up for him. They're going to walk straight in this push because they know this is clean. They pink warded it, and they will wait for
this reminds me of something.
Astronaut.
Do you remember where this happened?
That is a dangerous bush. Let's zoom in, showing it. 2 people walking in. Who's got it? Shoot gets snared up.
Yeah, he's just going, oh, the flash into the wall. He didn't make it over. First blood goes to Tristana. And this is exactly what happened. I believe the game between Dark Passage and Eternity Gaming. Also, Tristana picking up that first kill, and immediately they snowballed out of control.
Yeah, we did see Eternity face-checking Zyra in. Trundle then, of course, finishes off the blue buff nice and easy. Grabbed himself that early buff as Phoenix makes his way down towards the Young Buck, trying to bully him out of that bottom lane. Just get him to move along a little way. It's going to have a little bit of fun trying to 2v1 with him. But the Young Buck's very experienced with that Rumble, very experienced 2v1ing with that Rumble, and should be just fine in the process. Reckless then back up there with his support. Whether he gets his second support, we'll wait and see, but it's not, I'm not sure what he can really hope to do. There's the binding landing, Naru getting some return damage onto Kaltard, but once again, Riot in those early levels is easy to bully Morgana out. So you're going to have to see a little bit of caution on the side of Naru until she gets a couple of levels under her now.
It's also interesting to see that Trundle actually walked right past his own red buff to pick up the ward. Correction, map. There was a ward at his red buff, so they know when it's going to come down. And immediately, he's heading back to Youngbuck. Youngbuck might be in a bit of a situation here, but there's a ward. So Youngbuck now has to make a decision. Am I going to stay here, or am I going to hope that Kaltard is going to be able to get in? And now we have Trundle coming in, the Pillar of Filth going out, and Youngbuck taking massive damage. But here's Rise as well. Tristana still dealing damage to Youngbuck, and Kaltard smacked that in the middle of DP. Youngbuck, well, does he really want to stay here? And again, Theoclus wants to go in. They're just hovering around that tower, and now Holy Path is taking massive damage. The tower damage is so huge, he actually survives. But now Holy Phoenix trying to kill Kaltard. He does go down to Theoclus, but in response, Holy Phoenix gets picked up. Top lane, however, Naru just teleporting in.
Naru teleports top lane, yeah, a little bit too soon perhaps. Shook hadn't quite come out yet. If he'd have waited a bit longer, they may have been able to do a repeat of what's happening in the bottom lane, picking up some easy kills. It's a very aggressive dive still going on from DP. But it worked out for them. They managed to pick up 1 kill. They did unfortunately lose Tristana, but she had to go back and spend her first blood kill gold anyway. So, could have been worse.
Could have been definitely worse, and she's coming back into lane with a Vampire Scepter, so that's going to allow her to sustain a little bit more. And now we see the Copenhagen Wolves going down to the opposing blue buff, and Naru circling around. Jace is also coming in. Reckless taking massive damage, but Fabulous is only level 2. He's taking way too much here. And now he wants to turn around, he wants to go back in.
Just in the bottom lane, Youngbuck is onto the Holy Stuff, finishes him off 1v2. Phoenix hadn't quite come back to lane yet now though, and Youngbuck may be in trouble. He leaps over him, the slow is landed The auto attacks are going out, 2 more shots. The scrap shield comes up, 1 more shot. Will Youngbuck survive? Phoenix goes under turret, but he's down.
And now in the top lane, even more action going about. Fabulous just getting a 4-man dive onto his face. And oh my word, so many aggressive plays every single second. Bot left, not in the middle though.
Yeah, we do see DP really are taking the initiative again this time. They are making those plays. They are getting in there early, starting this the way they want to play it. Picking up a couple of quick kills. They are still ahead, only by 400 gold though. That's that first blood to their name. Other than that, Copenhagen Wards have actually closed the gap down a fair bit. So it's going to be interesting to see whether that keeps on going, whether they keep closing their gap, or if DP can stretch it back out again. Top turret looks like it's going to fall very, very shortly, thanks to Reckless and Unlimited and their constant pressure. There it goes. Bottom turret, on the other hand, looks like it's going to need a couple more waves. That one's not nearly low enough just yet.
And Youngbuck still really afraid of that, the power of this role. Trundle is in the bottom jungle. Shook is actually swinging around, going to try and give a hand to Rumble in the bot lane. And decides, well, there's still no Trundle. I saw no Trundle. I'm heading back to the mid lane, but you can't gank a Morgana with an Nautilus. She's just going to pop Black Shield.
You just see Naru starting to plateau out a little bit now. She can start to put up with the damage of Kaltard. Early level dominance from Ryze isn't quite here so much anymore. That bottom turret is very low. They do have Reckless and Thresh around. Are they going to go for it? Yes, they are. Obviously, Unlimited to go over the wall. He pulls Reckless with him with the Lantern. We do see Holy Phoenix trying to kill Youngbuck. There's the piercing arrow comes out. Suddenly he realizes he's no longer alone. Flashes away to safety. Reckless though is going to chase onto the Thok. Gets the slowdown. Needs 1 more piercing arrow. A couple more auto attacks going out. The heal's not quite there. He backs away. He's not going under that turret. Holy Phoenix, however, will die to Youngbuck. He's trying to delay that for as long as possible. But he did take the kill from Kaltard in the end.
Well played down by Youngbuck and Holy Phoenix as well. He actually jumped over the wall, forcing Youngbuck to chase him down, and basically allowed his support to get out of there alive. He already died. He didn't pick up a kill afterwards, so he was worth less money than, of course, the Sona at that point.
Yeah, Kaltard then trying to push his lane back and away. Meanwhile, his blue buff's being stolen by Naru and the Oculus. The smite goes out, and actually Oculus gets it. Despite smiting a little bit early, so I hope the puddle will pick it up for him. They're now closing in behind Reckless and Unlimited.
And it might be in a bit of a situation here. Again, a Lantern coming out, but here's the Pillar of Fill. Soul Shackles as well. And Naru just landing the Black Shield. Unlimited is unable to play him away. Reckless taking massive damage, and immediately they were doing exactly the same thing that the Copenhagen Wolves were doing, waiting for Holy Phoenix to get into range, get that kill onto him, and now Unlimited is in a little bit of a tight spot here. Rocket jump on his face, he's going to go down in the bot lane. Pillar of Fill comes out, and again, oh, it's not going to be Holy Phoenix, it's going to be Holy Top instead to get the kill.
Yep, Sona getting the kill is not ideal, but when Tristana's already 3-2-2, could be a whole lot worse. There, as we mentioned, that kill, that gold count is still now stretching back in DP's favor. This is what they needed after that first blood. Starting to close the gap and opening back up again. And now if they do manage to get this Drake, it's going to open up by another 1,000. But Shook is closing in. Pillar of Fill does go up. Shook's going to get slowed down.
He's taking massive damage. Here's the buster shot, and immediately Teoclus picking up a kill. Now the chase is on. Ryze might be in a bit of a situation here. The Pillar of Filth should be coming off cooldown any moment now. They back away, they want to get that dragon as fast as they can. Jace is also going to be joining the fight. Everyone, Youngbuck coming all the way down from top lane, and they are doing the dragon right now. Dark Lane lands to Kaltard. Kaltard taking massive amounts of damage, and Naru is smacked up in the middle of the team. Holy Top might go down to Youngbuck though. A flash from Youngbuck right onto Holy Top. He is going to go down, and now Teoclus and Holy Phoenix getting chased down. The Limited actually waiting max range to have the Lantern.
That was a beautiful play from Thresh. They do manage to pick up 2 kills in mid. Morgana gets that save. Kaltard's going to keep flashing the chase on a Holy Phoenix, so he needs to pick up 1 more shot. Auto attack will do it. Can he get there in range? Kaltard's not going to run past the tower. Oculus is going to recall. There's the kill. Unlimited gets it with an auto attack, and Reckless comes around the corner to finish off Trundle. Copenhagen Wolves have just gone from being 800 gold down to being 400 gold up, and now they can take the dragon.
And this is the turnaround that they have been waiting for. Everybody was just slipping into position, but Sona got taken out pretty early. And the entire team of DP, they were ahead as a team, but they got separated. And that pretty much ended their onslaught they had. Their initial assault pretty much reduced to 0. As the guys from Copenhagen Wolves picking up 1,300 gold lead.
I love the way Unlimited put that Thresh Lantern down, waiting for Kautar to click on it, and then while he was in midair, he flashed forward, giving the extra distance, making sure Kautar was close enough to get that snare down onto Phoenix and to unload his damage on him. That way, when Phoenix flashed away further up the ramp, Kautar still had his flash to follow it up and was able to pick up, or was able to facilitate Unlimited picking up that extra kill. Top getting hooked in on the turret, but nothing too serious, just being annoying, making sure the tower damage does slow down a little bit. And other than that, we've gone back for a little bit of a reset now, a little bit of a lull. There's no objective like Dragon to go up for. Neither team looks like they really want to take a tower yet. And we'll just wait for one of them to make a play like this.
Well, Depth Charge does go out, but that's about all. But Holy Thought is actually caught in a battle with Reckless. Teleport coming in from Rise. That's going to be the end of Holy Thought as Reckless picks up yet another kill and is on a killing spree. And again, they're funneling all the kills right into Reckless gold storage, and he's starting to get stronger and stronger. How much gold does he have right now?
Right now, he's sitting on 4.3k, 2,000 of which is still unspent. We do see, however, Youngbuck catching out the Oculus with the Shook.
Anti-Oculus taking massive damage. Oh, the Death Sentence is actually landing on him. The play going out. Anti-Oculus is going to go down. He has no escapes left. And a beautiful play again by Copenhagen Wolves. They find someone, they jump on him. They're like what you were saying, Hitman.
Phoenix a little bit low in the bottom lane, but he's trying to get as much of the CS as he possibly can. While Reckless puts some turret damage down. Reckless missing that piercing shot, but landing a couple of auto attacks instead. Not doing good damage and forcing Phoenix back to the columns. Build Order Cutlass means he's going to like to get a little bit off of these, but there's another triple Doran's build coming out of Reckless. Doing alright for him again. See whether he can keep driving it home, or what in fact he chooses to build this time around. He went for Bloodthirster first in the last game. Probably going to do the same again here, as he's relying a lot on that piercing arrow from Varus. When he gets that Bloodthirster up, he's going to get a lot of AD, and he's going to abuse it with the piercing arrow to really nuke down targets from range.
Speaking of nuking, here's Phoenix. He's running right into Reckless if he's not careful. Oh, beautiful hail of arrows. And he's forced to rocket jump out of there. Immediately the Buster Shot follows.
And nicely played by Phoenix. It was the only way he was getting out of there. Reckless probably knew it, but it means he gets to blow those abilities, get him low, and he will now be able to pick up this bottom turret without any more interference from that Tristana.
Rise actually finding Sona in the jungle. That's not going to be enough in the top lane though. Youngbuck might be in the middle situation here as he's taking massive damage from both Jace, but he's dealing so much damage back to Fabulous. Might pick up a return kill. No, it's not going to happen. He's going to get destroyed by Fabulous. Well played there. Nice gank from Theoclus, but that's going to cost him the bottom tower.
Yeah, that overheat coming in at just the right time as far as DP are concerned, meaning they managed to pick up that kill. Fabulous just fighting Youngbuck a little bit while Oculus did their extra damage. Kautar rides that lantern because he can, just for a bit of fun.
That's the most important part about playing Thresh. Click on the lantern, and else Thresh won't have fun.
So Oculus and Fabulous are going to get this top turret. They do run out of creeps, but they'll face tank 2 shots, and that's all that matters. But there is still now a 1,200 gold lead for Copenhagen Wolves. Stretch it up again, and they are using that extra gold to buy an Oracle's Elixir on Thresh. So they're going to have to start regaining map control again, clearing out enemy walls, placing their own in some slightly more aggressive places, and being able to do what they're already doing even more aggressively. They are catching members of DP out. We saw Reckless finding Sona in the bottom lane, and a nice teleport from Kautar finding her just to lock her up and be sure about it deeper into the jungle. The more walls you can put down, the more opportunities they're going to get to do that. And if they keep doing that, they are going to run away with this game.
Shook actually catching Sona right in the middle. She is going to go down. Well, not much to be said about that one. Beautiful hook. He tried to hit Morgana, but Morgana with the black shield is not going to go down that easily.
Yeah, Copenhagen Wolves have a great mid-game comp right here. Rumble's strength has just started to begin. Hasn't even got that much AP at the moment. He has just helped, but he's doing so much damage. Rise is starting to get some stacks on that tier, but he's got his Catalyst up as well, so he's got quite a bit of mana now with that blue buff ticket. He's going to keep going, but Rise is only going to get stronger. Varus is just about going to finish his, in fact, he's got exactly enough now in his bag, finishing that Bloodthirster. And his damage is going to spike as soon as that gets stacked up. So now's the time DP really needs to start being scared of them. And Copenhagen Wolves know it. You can see that there are 4 of them grouped up in this mid lane right now.
Yeah, but also something to note here, again, Tristana going for the secondary dagger, probably going to be picking up the static shift as fast as she can. We saw that in game 1, and we're probably going to see it this game again. And Dark Binding barely missing, they're trying to chase down the team of Copenhagen Wolves. Beautiful piercing area there. But, they cannot continue to chase. It's really risky not running in with any vision. The Shock Blast doing a fair amount of damage to Copenhagen Wolves. They're trying to take down this middle tower. Pillow Field coming out. Here's the equalizer. Chain of Corruption going out, and the engage goes on. Rune Prison onto Teoclus. Teoclus is able to escape there. And beautiful crescendo. Looking up, Shook and Holy Phoenix jumps in, takes a kill, jumps out, and Reckless, well, he's also picking up yet another kill as they give it to him.
Yeah, again, we did see some great sonar ultimates in the semi-finals coming out from Holy Top. That one did enable Phoenix to pick up a kill. Did lose his life for it, but he might have got out if he was just a little bit more patient with that flash. The old flash would have got over that distance. New flash, not so much. Young Buck is on the run though from Phoenix. Flashes the first harpoon, not the second, but the lantern's there. Fabulous can't land the shock blast. Nicely played by Copenhagen Wolves. Good reaction for Unlimited, making sure he placed it in the right spot. Didn't put it too far behind or too far in front of Young Buck. He got there just in the right moment, clicked on it instantly, and got out to safety. Does, however, look like Phoenix is down towards that dragon. He's soloing it for now, but he has got team support closing in. Coutard's low, but he can come and join this fight. He's still fairly tanky. Fresh is in there. Shook is making his way down, but the dragon is already quite low. Shock Blast does hit onto ooh, that was an early smite. But Shook, unfortunately, not closing in time to use his own. They are chasing for this. Hook goes further forward. Shook just zoning them out.
Yeah, they're playing really aggressive, just making sure, well, if you get hit, you die. That's basically what happens when you're playing against Nautilus. And I have to say, the guys from Copenhagen Wolves, they know their limits. They chase just as much to the point of no return. Immediately left the engage on Holy Top taking massive damage, but Fabulous and Teoclus jumping right back into the middle. Limited is taking a fair share of damage himself, down to about 300 hit points. One good shot blast combination should be able to pick up the kill, but it was just enough for the guys from DP to, well, withstand that assault from Copenhagen Wolves. I'm getting feeling testing how much damage they could put out in one single swoop.
Yeah, Unlimited hasn't been back for a while now, and the fact that he's just been put on such low HP means that now is a better time than any to go back, shop up, buy some more walls, maybe buy fresh oracles if that one's about to run out, get himself ready to come back out on the map and for some more fights, because as you said, Copenhagen Wolves really are being a little bit more aggressive now. They're starting to push down these mid turrets, starting to push down the other lanes and take these extra fights a little bit deeper into DP's base. We'll go further into those entries, up into the jungle, looking for those little picks, looking for people they can find. There are a lot of wards out of the map for DP again now though. Unlimited, got to go hunting, got to go try and find someone as Naru does head up to deal with this Young Buck top lane. Teleport is up, which is why Naru can do it safely, not worry about leaving his team alone. At the same time, Holy Phoenix is pushing that bottom lane out. He's about to get company from Reckless.
And not just from Reckless, but Unlimited as well. He pretty much smells them out and immediately chooses to retreat. Limited trying to get in range, probably going to try and land a death sentence as Rise and Nautilus are jumping right onto Sona. Sona getting locked up in it. Stretch line, immediately one more hit, and they see Fabulous coming in, crescendo going out as well. And the Dark Binding just barely missing there. If it would have hit, that would have been one dead Shook, but no such luck. Immediately the Pillar Field going slow, Shook down, Shook might go down here, lands stretch line, gets out of there alive.
Yep, he had two options. He went for the stretch line and he got him far enough away. Nice save. DP, however, are trying to make these plays, get the initiative. Naru with a nice TP force, Coutard to flash away. He nearly flashed into that Sonar Ultimate, lucky enough not to. Romolo goes down from a massive distance because it's mental. And they do in fact get this mid turret regardless. They're going to go in onto Shoot. This time he does use the lantern, does get him out to safety. Phoenix fails to jump over the wall. Oculus gets locked up and Rumble is being focused.
Chain Corruption goes out from Varus and immediately Holy Top taking so much damage from Reckless. Reckless picking up a double kill here. The Dark Binding misses and Holy Phoenix, Teoclus, they are forced to immediately disappear. They cannot withstand Reckless without the full force of their team combined. And Shook and Unlimited survive with about 400 hit points left. But now they're going to try and jump into Reckless, force a flash as the Dark Binding almost caught him. And that might have been one dead Reckless, but it wasn't to be.
Yep, as much reaction flash, making sure that did not land. That would have been disaster if he had. Achilles had been caught up in Rise's snare, but it was about to wear off, and if he was able to get onto that AD carry and stick to him, Reckless would have been in all kinds of trouble. Do you see an ever so slight gold lead still for Copenhagen Wolves, but it's been that same number for a while now. Not been too far apart. DP are hanging on here, digging their nails in, making sure they're not going anywhere. Shook and count up, turning that push away, making sure they stay safe away from the tier 2 turrets. But both teams have just opted for a bit of a slower pace moment now, getting the lanes pushed out, getting the items in the shops they needed. Probably going to see a Drake again sometime soon if my internal Dragon timer is correct. There are a few wards appearing around it. It wasn't done that long ago, if I remember correctly. It's about 2 or 3 minutes from now, I think. But either way, we may just see a fight there. We've seen enough confidence out of DP to suggest they may want to go for it. Copenhagen Wolves are definitely strong enough and definitely want to fight at the moment, so could be our next point of contention.
And we're getting actually to the point where Tristana is just going to be sitting behind the lines of her own team, just shooting from such a huge distance. And Varus can't really reach her, and that's going to be a major issue, especially once she starts getting the 4th item. But before that happens, the guys from Copenhagen Wolves, they have to catch Tristana every single time. But beautiful Dark Binding onto Ryzen. Might have an engage here as Theocles gets engaged from himself. Equalizer going out, Holy Top taking massive damage. Crescendo might save Theocles, he is going to go down. But in the background, we might see Youngbuck coming in from the side. Dark Binding is going to allow the guys from Dark Passage to escape. And, well, 1 kill once again for the team of Copenhagen Wolves, enjoying those little victories.
Yeah, it was a nice pickup, despite the fact Counthard was on there, got bound, and they still managed to turn the fight around to pick up the kill onto the Oculus. Wasn't quite enough support there from DP to follow up on that initial binding, and those that were there should have backed away a bit sooner than they did. They lost their life for it. Thresh's recall gets cancelled by a cheeky shot blast coming out of Fabulous, and they will again reset, look to set the wave pushes back to turn these lanes around. No, looking to bind onto Reckless.
Oh, and a beautiful Dark Binding onto Reckless. Reckless taking not that much damage though.
Yeah, he does turn it away. After the binding and the puddle went down, that's all he could do. If he went any closer, the auto attacks from Reckless would just straight up kill him. Shook diving in onto Phoenix, dodged it out nonetheless. Jace's shock blast again, not doing too much damage. And there is that dragon. And we are looking at all 5 members of both teams closing in on this area.
And the poke going down already from Morgana, pretty much reducing Youngbuck to 75% health. It looks like both teams are ready to go. They do have some ward coverage for both sides. But there's not much that they can do right now. If they go for it, the other team will engage and it will be a 6 versus 5 battle for the team that was already battling the dragon. So both teams are just going to wait for the opposing team to make a mistake. And the Limit is clearing out the ward because he has the Oracle's Elixir. For how long has he had it right now?
So, you do see Varus picking up his red buff and then making his way back down towards the dragon area, grouping up with the rest of his team. Wards are being slowly taken out by Limited, as you said. I'm sure that vision is limited. So they don't know exactly where the walls are positioned, and giving them a little bit of control over the fight itself once it breaks out. You see Varus in that mid lane just straight up shoving the wave up as far into DP territory as possible. And again, just this little standoff, just a little dance around the dragon pit. Rumble's going to go bottom. He's going to shove that again. He can, of course, come back, cast his ultimate from quite a long range, so he doesn't have to be particularly close to the fight when it starts. And he can still make a huge impact. But what he does have to be is alive, and he might not be if this goes the way of DP.
Beautiful Pillar of Filth going out, and Youngbuck might just go down here. Here's the teleport coming in from right. Youngbuck taking massive damage as every shot of Tristana just annihilates their opponent. And beautiful Theocles with that ultimate of his, he numbed every single hit point of Youngbuck. And it looks like the guys from Dark Passage, they know they are in the correct position. Oh, beautiful Crescendo, Reckless getting bumped. He gets shut down, and immediately Dark Passage say no, they are stronger, they are going in. Seaweed Unlimited is trying to get out of there. Shook is also getting focused out. A double kill going away of Holy Phoenix. They want to go in. Fabulous gets locked into the turret, does go down. Counter goes on the rampage. but we have Holy Phoenix in hot pursuit. He wants to try and kill Coulthard, but the tower is good enough for him. And that's such an amazing play right there.
What do you do when a team's funneling all the kill and gold in towards their AD carry? You killed their AD carry at the start of the team fight. That was perfect. A lovely flasher's crescendo coming out of Holy Thoth. Does initiate that fight onto Reckless. Blew him up. Allowed them to gain that tier 2 turret in the bottom lane as an objective, and now getting the break. And from where they were down by about 600 gold, they are now well and truly in the lead by a good 2,000. Copenhagen also, they have done a good job of regaining the gold count throughout the earlier parts of this game. They're not been written off yet, but if DP can pull off more plays like that, they may just be in with a chance of leveling up this series.
And it feels like this entire play, the sequence of plays that they're making, this is what the guys from DP want to be doing. Sona ult, Morgana ult, everything, toss it in, and they weren't able to do so last game because Sona was taken away from them. I have to say, they are pulling it back. I didn't see it coming, actually. It looked like Copenhagen was in full control of the match and is now feeling it slipping out of their hands.
Just trying to throw the quick up towards the mid lane, can't land it. There's a lantern over the wall. There's no one there, but it's going to shield off a couple of people. Shoot across the flash into the blue. They're going to keep the chase on. DP blowing a lot of flashes and taking a lot of health off Copenhagen Wolves. Wolves do back off, disengage, but it's time for DP to go straight up the middle. See what they can take.
Beautiful spell shield once again by Morgana. It's so amazing how that shield is such a pivotal point in this matchup as well. There's so much to see on the other side. Just put the black shield on Trundle, go straight in, and shoot, barely landing, barely missing that Drax line. Looks like they aren't done yet. DP wants to go in. Shock Blast actually lands right next to Reckless. The chain structure going out, and here's the engage. Shook taking massive damage. He's forced back by Fabulous. Depth charge going out again, and Phoenix is well, doing exactly what Reckless was doing last game. Oh, the rocket jump failed. That's so unfortunate for him, but again, a double kill going to Tristana. And you have a hyper carry in Varus, but you have an even more hyper carry in Tristana, and she's dealing so much damage right now. And the tower is going to fall as well. Oh, the piercing arrow, but there's rocket jump immediately over Reckless. It was a beautiful base, hook, line, and sinker, and they took out yet another tower. 40 seconds before Reckless is going to respawn, and this is going to cost the inhibitor tower. It has to be right now.
Nice play again from DP. Tristana was up in a beautiful position around that corner, just hiding out of vision, just auto-attacking non-stop. Limited gets taken out again, pops the box, but no one even stood in it. Not a great position. Copenhagen Wolves are giving up a lot of free stuff in their base. You see Phoenix having to leave away, can't quite finish with the inhibitor of Coulthard, and shoot for return. Nice ultimate for Shuk and Young away. Coulthard closing in around one side, but Naru is still there in support, and it does look like the chase is over as far as the Copenhagen Wolves. No, it's not. They're chasing out the Phoenix. Now it's over as far as the Wolves are concerned. That binding does land. Naru just showing them he's here, showing them there is some friends here for Tristana. You don't want to go much deeper. And with that, there is a 6,000 gold lead and an exposed middle inhibitor.
And that's what the guys from DP like. They like to go. I'm not going to go there. As the Copenhagen Wolves were actually tempting, looking at Baron and deciding, well, one Shock Blast was, let's get the hell out of here.
You see Shuk passing this red buff off to Reckless once more. The teams are fairly grouped up. Morgana down in the bottom lane, of course, has a halfway cooldown. Is it halfway cooldown or is it an almost finished cooldown? Let's see. It is a just finished cooldown on the teleport. That's why she's down in the bottom lane. So she can come and rejoin the rest of the team at her will, should the fight break out here shortly. We just have all the members of Copenhagen Wolves here, but Rise is about to leave, and his cooldown's just come up too. Fabulous gets caught out. The burst damage is huge.
And he's going to go down. Beautiful Shuk. And the Death Sentence's landing again, spelling death right for Jason. Now the chase is on. Crescendo again. Holy Phoenix actually gets locked in by the chain of corruption. Is he going to survive? No, he's going to go down. And Reckless picks up the kill. And this might just be the point where the Copenhagen Wolves are going to say, okay, if we're going to do Baron, this is it. This is our moment.
Did Morgana even try and teleport? No, she didn't. And I don't really blame her. There wasn't a real point there where they were fighting and it would have benefited her. There was just getting caught and running away moments. Limited does get bound up, and Morgana all the same, using Zoro to clear the water around this Baron, and the rest of Copenhagen Wolves do decide to back one out to safety. It's not worth the risk. They're already closing the gap. There's no reason to throw something like a Baron to their opposition.
Yeah, and we saw it happen so often yesterday.
See how they take it. Nice pick onto Jason Goss as he was planting wards. Not entirely sure why Holy Phoenix got caught out in Tristana, but despite another great sonar on 4 people, the Varus ult had already landed and locked her in place.
Yeah, Holy Path really showing us how to play Sonar, and Dark Binding actually lands on the Shook. Shook might go down here, but the Dread Slime is going to save his life, and the Lantern. The combination of the two tools so strong right now, but he's still pretty low. He does actually have Home Guard boots, so he'll be right back in just a few seconds. And immediately, look what DP is doing. They're heading towards Baron. What are they going to do? Are they going to try and trap them?
They are looking to straight up start this Baron.
Oh
going down pretty rapidly. DP Phoenix is on the other side of the waterfall thanks to his range. Can't get that damage out. Is leaping over just as they realize they're coming, but the ult comes down from Rumble, locking them all in. The Baron will go down though.
And here's the Soul Shackles. Naru right smack dab in the middle, locked Reckless down with the Dark Binding. The box goes out. Youngblood gets picked up by Holy Phoenix. Holy Phoenix actually gets hit by the Chain of Corruption as well, but is able to get into a position where he's not getting damaged one bit. It's now actually the turnaround here for DP. Oh, beautiful Dark Binding onto Kautar. Kautar might go down if the Torment of the Soil just was a little bit to the right. He actually survived that one. Holy Phoenix going, the Buster Shot picks up the kill, and he's able to just destroy Shook. The damage is huge, just as the Reckless, but Reckless picks up the kill.
Just got a little bit too big for his boots going for Reckless, but Naru has been back, healed, and is now teleported up to the mid lane to this exposed inhibitor. Gonna do what he can. Doing fair, beats the damage to it. Of course, more AP has more damage you do to that inhibitor. It does scale. It's not quite the same as an AD carry, but it scales all the same. But now he is surrounded by Reckless and Unlimited. Spell immunity is still there. It's going to get worn out by all those ability, but now the hook can go out. The Lantern's there to pull in Reckless. There's the hook. And another kill for that Varus. Nice little bit of teamwork from that pairing. But still a long way to go before they can really win this game outright. It's still very, very close. Both teams making their bids for it, but Varus is still 10, 3, and 7.
Yep, don't forget we have the opposite hyper carry. It's 11, 5, and 6 on Tristana. And Morgana just staying a little bit more than she should have. She should have gone back most likely. But still 2 members of the team of DP, they still have the Baron buff. And they are 6,000 gold ahead right now.
It was a nice idea taking the inhibitor down like that. Peke is around somewhere, and maybe you just spotted him in the crowd. It would have been the inspiration you needed to teleport back and make a play like that. But for now, the Wolves are down there in that Dragon Fence. They are trying to get it going. The vision comes out from that shock blast, but it does not get the kill. And with the help of a piercing arrow and a smite, Copenhagen Wolves do grab themselves another 1,000 gold. So just being on the ball, being grouped up there as a team before the guys on DP were, gives Fnatic, I've done it again, gives Copenhagen Wolves another 1,000 gold. He's wearing the jersey too, it doesn't help me. It does not help me at all.
He's just doing it on purpose, just for you, Panky.
He's under contract.
Yeah.
But fabulous with Tristana pushing up that mid lane. And we do now have Copenhagen Wolves just playing a little bit safer, a little bit more defensive now they have that exposed inhibitor. And they know that DP are willing to try some sneaky kind of backdoor to action to get onto that inhibitor. So they cannot push out too far unless they really do have positions and lockdown on all 5 DP members.
DP now heading towards the top lane, but the guys from Copenhagen Wolves, do you think they might go for the base race here?
And DP making the right... Actually, I don't know if DP are making the right call. They are all recalling to try and stop this. However, they were closer to the Wolves base, and they have less stuff to kill. And Tristana is a lot faster with her attack speed right now than that Varus is. They both have Phantom Dancers. There's also, however, a Blade of the Ruined King on Tristana, and she's got her Q ability to her rapid fire to give her increased attack speed. So that may not have been the best play for them as far as I'm concerned. But it did stop the push from Copenhagen Wolves all the same. They have backed off, solo red buff on their way, and are now being zoned out from their own mid lane. So this is, in the end, working out for DP. Very nicely done by them. If they can keep Wolves away from this middle inhibitor for just about 20 seconds longer, it will fall.
Yeah, but it looks like Copenhagen Wolves isn't going to let this inhibitor fall without a fight. They're turning it from the behind. Immediately the Death Sentence lands on Theo Colas, but it's not going to be enough to chain corruption. onto the entire team of DP, but there's no follow-up, and now with the CC gone, Holy Phoenix is just in the right position to do a little bit of damage, just enough to force them back. And now they're rotating to the top lane, most likely going to be picking up that tower in a second or two.
Some big ultimates down though for both teams right now after that engagement. A good disengagement. The hook goes down onto Thoth. Does get saved by the spell switch from any further damage, and I don't think Thresh really had the cojones to go in onto that one. Would not have walked out of it alive. Binding does catch on the young buck, a little more poke damage, some more shot blast coming out, but the Hercules is caught as well. They are going to deep dive straight through the turret, and Hercules is going low.
Immediately Shook jumping right back in, but he's getting destroyed. And again, Thoth is in the position for a crescendo if he had it on cooldown. But Reckless just gets destroyed, and immediately the entire team of Copenhagen Wolves just gets melted. And Cowtoid is the final remaining team member, but Theocles is actually right on the sill, going to force him to stay there and not allow him to recall. In the meantime, Holy Thoth and Holy Phoenix, they are pushing down the middle Nexus turret already. Naru's there as well, going to try and get some tanking in himself.
Chunder was just toying with Cowtoid, just running into bushes, biting him and running away again. But the GG well played is being called by Copenhagen Wolves, and rightly so. DP have leveled up the series, taken this to a third game, which will be underway any minute. These guys are going to go straight back into the lobby and begin that in a second. But what did I say? You ban out that Nunu, you take away that extra support from Reckless, you